Start streaming and hope this now works. Starting. Okay. Okay. Link, and we're live. Yep.
Are we?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. I can't see it anywhere.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the Canon EOS R5, and yesterday there was a press conference, or basically online conference, with a lot of people presenting the new gear from Canon, and also the new EOS R, and also the Canon 300 C300 Mark III. So we're gonna talk about what is gonna happen, or what is interesting about the new cams. So we have here Ken Ekins from UK.
Nice to be here again. I haven't been on your channel for a while, I don't think, have I? I think it was on a vlog once. A couple of vlogs.
I think NAB was pretty much it.
Yeah, it was probably the last time I was on.
Yeah.
But no, it's exciting times. We've got some Canon making some plays, which they haven't done for a long time. So it's really interesting to see that. They're I mean, that was a real shock.
And High Tech Addict.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting because it feels like they have fired somebody who been blocking the tech.
Yeah. I mean, because their strategy has been like really slowly behind everyone in terms of resolutions and crop factors, all this kind of stuff, and then it was almost like it felt like it was a joke for a long time. It stopped me from buying Canon cameras for a while, but I really like Canon cameras, which is the annoying thing. So it's been a real, it felt like they were trying to get you to buy the cinema range rather than the smaller cameras, the mirrorless cameras. But even with the cinema range, they crippled them. So it was really strange. So they seem to have just done a complete 180, and now they're throwing everything into these cameras. It's crazy.
Because the R5 will have 8K RAW, 4K 120 frames per second. It will have all kinds of awesomeness. It will have dual pixel autofocus, even full frame with 8K, and just it doesn't seem to cripple anything.
No, it's like the cripple hammer has been destroyed finally. I'm not sure what that YouTuber's going to do now. What's his name? Camera Conspiracies. He's going to have he's got a whole whole thing, hasn't he, with the cripple hammer? But it sounds like the cripple hammer's dead, at least for now. But there may still be a cripple in there. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
It is Canon. They'll get something in there, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I feel like it might, we've seen the C300 Mark III came out, and also the pricing for it. But the Mark III looks like a lesser camera than the EOS R5. So would you think the pricing would be fair?
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. They claim that the new the dynamic range on the 300 Mark III is the selling point with this new dual gain setting. But from what I can see so far on Cinema 5D, who do quite good tests of dynamic range, it looks like it's actually not great. It's like 11.8 stops of dynamic range, which isn't great. And obviously the C500 Mark II that came out recently is the second best dynamic range that they've tested, next to the Alexa and the Panasonic S1H. So it's strange because Canon were claiming this had a better dynamic range by one stop than the C500 Mark II, but it looks like it's actually under one stop less. It's really strange. So maybe I'll need to read, because the article literally just came out, so I'm gonna have to read it properly. But that might make it not as appealing anymore, which is a bit of a shame. You may as well spend another $5,000 and get the 500 Mark II, really. And you've got only got 6K full frame. It's and good dynamic range. So why would you go for the 300? But it's a strange, yeah, it's weird. So are you? What are your thoughts on the R5? Are you gonna?
For me, I'll probably wait until it's actually out, because even though like it's crazy specs right now, but still, I can easily switch to a Canon, because like I have here actually like the C100 Mark II, and yeah, I still have a lot of Canon EF lenses, so I can easily switch over with like a R mount. So it should be quite easy to just switch over, but still, for me, I'm now using the Z cam and all kinds of like more cinema cams than like DSLR or mirrorless for jobs, and like it still feels like a nicer form factor, and also the bigger batteries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Zcam has the nice Sony MP batteries, doesn't it? Which is
Yeah,
something I'm quite jealous of. I'm a Blackmagic user, so I'm stuck with the Canon LP
yeah,
batteries, which aren't great. They're not great on that camera, to say the least. They're good on the Canon. Weirdly, on the Canons, they're great. Like on the 5D and
yeah.
the EOS R, they're really good. But Blackmagic just chews through them for some reason. I don't know why, but it's strange. But yeah, no, I think R5. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see. Yeah, until I get it in my hands, and I want to see the final specs. I want to make sure there's not something that they're not telling us. I just got this feeling that there's something they're not telling us about the about it. There's going to be something wrong with it. It's
It's
too
like
good to be true.
5K for like 5 minutes or something,
Yeah,
or I'm like
yeah,
8K for 5 minutes.
yeah, or something like that. I can imagine. But I think one thing that's worth noting is that they have switched. They've put CF Express cards in it, which is another. That's going to make it a bit more pricey to run. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's cheaper than CFast, but still quite expensive. I think so. I think that's something people need to bear in mind. Is it's not going to be like an ESR where you can stick an SD card in it. I think it does have an SD slot as well, but I think to get RAW and all the nice 10-bit, you need to use the CF Express slot.
Yeah.
So that's worth noting. So that's an extra expense up front. But I think that's going to become standard anyway. CF Express and CFast are pretty, they're turning up in loads of different cameras now. So hopefully the price will come down. CFast, it's still so expensive. It's ridiculous. Do you use CFast on your Zcam?
Yeah, I use CFast on my Zcam. I've bought the Sony one, which relatively is okay, but yeah, you can't get like huge, like terabytes cards, just like 128 or 256 gigs ones, which are still doable.
Yeah. How much are they going for?
I remember I paid like 100 something. Like it's in Hong Kong, so the prices are different than other countries.
Yeah, I suppose so. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know over here it's still quite expensive to run CFast. I know a DP I worked with recently bought them all second hand because he just couldn't afford to buy loads of new CFast because he just spent loads of money on the camera. So he ended up buying second hand CFast, which is a bit worrying. But you'd think it would have come down by now. So many different cameras use it. Like the Ursa uses it. Blackmagic cameras all use it. It's but I mean, maybe that's another thing we should talk about as well is what's yet to come. I mean, this is just, there's still some announcements coming up.
Yeah, so
Like we know,
yeah, basically other brands still has things to come from the S side.
yeah. So we've got Sony, definitely. That's on the 30th.
Yeah,
By all accounts, we might have a Blackmagic announcement. And there's another one. I can't remember what the other one is, but so are we going to get the A7S3? Do you think? That's the big question. That's what everyone wants to know.
I feel like they are just going to skip and just make the 4 A7 4.
Yeah, but
Because
why
the
do you think it's
S
taken so long?
because I think that they because the 3 was already competing in low light with the S2, so I don't feel like they can push the S, like the small pixel sensor, any further. They just only like it's just limited to only low light, but not more megapixels. So they go for the 24, but just push it more with the low light on the 24 megapixel sensor.
And do you think the reason it's taken so long is maybe because Sony historically haven't been great with overheating, have they? That's always been their Achilles heel. They've always, yeah. So I'm wondering if that's what it is. Maybe they've figured it out, but they just haven't figured out how to make it not overheat. I think that might be the problem.
They probably can just make the body bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't care about small cameras, really. I mean, I think, to a degree, I think you can, as long as they're not as big as DSLRs, I think people will be fine.
Actually, I don't even mind the size of a DSLR because GH5 is the size of a DSLR. And the Blackmagic is even bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a fat DSLR, isn't it? It's ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, so at the moment, it seems that we've got so many great options at an affordable price. And that's another thing we should discuss as well, is how much do we think the R5 is going to cost?
So
I think it's
5, because in the presentation they were talking about the 5D Mark II. So I feel like they wanted to keep it that range of price.
Yeah, so maybe like $3,500-4,000.
Yeah,
dollars. I'm thinking here, but yeah, so that's I mean, they said that it's in line with the 5Ds, so it's like this is the mirrorless 5D, is what they were saying. Yeah. So, which is exciting because it means we'll probably get a mirrorless 1D as well, which could be crazy. I don't know what they'll do with that, but it might be just insane. But but yeah, so the other thing that wasn't announced, what I was really surprised, was they didn't talk about the R6. Which is the one everyone seems to be quite excited about.
Okay. Entry level.
So I think that's the 6D. The mirrorless 6D is what everyone's saying. Yeah. So I thought the RP was the mirrorless 6D, but
yeah, I thought that too.
But yeah, and everyone's saying the R6 is going to be the mirrorless 6D. So that'd be interesting. And apparently it's going to be 4K, but have quite a lot of really interesting features in it. So, and the rumors, I think it said 20 megapixels. So it'll be a lot of people saying it's the same sensor that's on the 1DX. So because that's only 20, I think, as well. It's a fast readout. So it'd be interesting. I just want to know what's why they haven't announced that. That seems like such an obvious time to announce it, at least.
Because I think their schedule was like all these stuff came out for the Olympics, but now Olympics is just cancelled.
Yeah, now they're going to have to wait another year. Although it might be good for them. It means they've got more time to improve the cameras, maybe. Get some new stuff out. But it's really bizarre that Canon seems to be the exciting camera manufacturer again. It's I'm still finding that quite hard to deal with because normally I'm there defending Canon, like no, they'll do something good. But now that they actually have, it's like, oh, okay, it's great. It's so what, aside from the C100, what was the last Canon you had?
Actually, C100 Mark, the C100 Mark II was pretty much the last one. I didn't.
No, I mean the last DSLR you had. What was the?
The actual last one would be the 550.
550. Oh wow. Yeah, that's,
I went from the 550 to Panasonic, and then Panasonic to Sony, and then back to Panasonic, and
then lots of different cameras.
Yeah.
It's I lose track of which ones I've had now. I've had most of the Canons, like the 5Ds. I've had 2, 3, and 4. I had the 550D as well. That was a classic. 7D, and the M50, and I've got the ESR coming now. So yeah, I'm still slightly regretting buying the ESR now, but it was cheap, so I can't really can't complain. But yeah, no. So what? Do you want to talk more about the 300? Or?
Yeah. So the 300 it's interesting, but it's not like having more resolution. It's like still 4K. It's even though it's a cinema camera, of course, with all the specs and all the goods, but it's, if you then compare it to the R5, like with 8K and being full frame, it's kind of odd.
Yeah, it's like I remember people always used to say, "Oh, they'll never release that in a mirrorless because it will cripple their sales of their pro lineup," and it's like that's exactly what they've done. It's really strange. But I think Panasonic kind of did that as well with the S1H, didn't they? They kind of released a 6K RAW shooting, DSLR essentially, or mirrorless, and it's like outspecs the EVA one, and it's like
But
it's really
but
strange.
but the EVA one was already like a few years in, right?
Yeah,
Or a
true. Yeah,
year. Plus, the EVA one
yeah,
was more like, if in reality talk to teams working with the EVA one, it's not that huge. So I don't
no,
feel
it's
like
quite small.
they,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's not like a big sell item. While with the SH1, they had also all photographers buying it. So it's all
mm.
different range.
Well, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they think Panasonic's Pro section is probably going to close down because it just
Okay.
hasn't. The cameras haven't been selling. I don't see them anywhere. I mean, I was on a shoot recently with the EVA One, and I've been on a couple of shoots with the EVA One, but never seen the LT on a set before, or
Oh,
the Vericam. You just don't see them anywhere. It's really strange.
I've seen
It's a shame.
somebody filming events with the Vericam.
Oh, really?
and
Events.
it didn't make any sense. Like it was like a water slide event, and it was not a camera you should be using for.
Yeah, water slide event. God, yeah, no, it's a GoPro, surely.
Yeah.
You don't want a big camera like that. So in Hong Kong, Panasonic. I know in Asia generally, Panasonic don't have much of they're not very popular there, are they, for cameras? Is it the same
So
with Hong Kong? Or
yeah, for Hong Kong, it is not popular. There's no like, for me, I'm using it for YouTube, but for other people, I've never seen it used for weddings, for actual jobs. Most people would use Sony instead because a lot of the broadcast teams also are using Sony. The rest, you have people who are using Leica, and because they're already using Leica L mount lenses, they just go for the SH. So that's why
Mhm.
they would buy those. But like the Micro Four Thirds range is for Panasonic not that good. It's mainly girls buying like the Olympus pen because of the look of the camera, but not really buying Panasonic because Panasonic looks more pro than like girly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's true. So you've got a few Panasonics, haven't you? You've got
I've
is
got
it the G9 you've got?
now I've got the G5 and the G7.
G7. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you thought about looking at the G9? Because that actually looks like quite an interesting camera.
I don't feel like I need it because GH5 is already doing a lot of the most of the work. And then actually I love the G7 because it's super light. I might get like the G85 more for vlogging, just going out because it's has the IBIS. But like GH5 is just too heavy just to bulk around.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's why I like the little Canon M50 that I've got. You can just throw it in your bag, and it's so
Yeah,
light. It's there all the time. That's the kind of camera. I think, especially if you're a YouTuber, that's a good camera to have. Just
yeah,
available whenever you need it. So that's another thing. I mean, they should all be updated this year as well by Canon. So that might be the next line is the M52 or. Yeah, it's all quite exciting. It's really strange being excited about Canon cameras. I'm not used to it
yeah.
anymore. I used to be. I remember being really excited about the 5D Mark III, and then that came out. I was like, oh, no, there's not a lot of new stuff there, even though it's a good camera. But, you kind of hope they're going to put new stuff in it. But I
Okay,
think R5 is. Yeah.
okay. There's a question here, but what is the mystery port on the front? So I don't know. Like, is there a weird port on the front of the R5?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I can't see it.
Or is it talking about
Uh,
the C300? Oh, it's on the bottom.
oh yeah, but yeah, bottom right hand side. Yeah, yeah. What is that?
It's probably
Is that just
remote ports. Like,
yeah, it's flash port sort of thing? Yeah. Oh, hang on. But isn't that on the right hand side? Oh,
let's
live
see.
detective work here.
Are they going to make a special connector? Like the GH5 with like the special XLR stuff.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I mean, they seem to be, because Canon always, whenever they release these mirrorless cameras, or the DSLRs as well, they always play down the video features, don't they? Whereas with this
Yeah.
one, they seem to be big in it. They've gone. It's like everything. They've gone 180 on that as well. They're even like really. All they spoke about was the video features at the press conference yesterday. So it's very little information about it as a stills camera. They really are pushing this as a video camera, which is really interesting because historically they've always said the 5D is a stills camera, and then for journalists they've got a video function in there. But this is a real it's
Because
all
they
kind of this brave new world.
Because they written on the website also, be the filmmaker, commit your best work to stunning HK. So it's literally they want to make this for filmmakers.
Yeah, which is, it's just so strange because again, it's like just saying that in relation to Canon it's just weird. It's like it sounds more like Panasonic. It's more like their kind of strategy, isn't it? Where they give you a fairly good stills camera and then throw a ton of really, really good video features into it, and it's strange. But yeah, no, I think it'll be it'll be interesting. I think I'll wait for some reviews. I think on this one first, just because I want to see there's something in there is going to be a problem. But I don't know. I mean, I might, I'll probably get it. You know what I'm like. But have you had a look at the C500, the new one?
I haven't had time really look, but it's not really like something in my range also. So it's
I suppose.
It's like also it's weird with Canon, especially if you're doing like films. Like there's not a lot of teams or requests for people to run like the big Canon cameras, like the C500, even the original ones, C700, all would rather go for a Red or like Arri Alexa Mini, those kind of cameras instead.
I'm wondering now, because these Canon cameras are, and you've got the FX9 now, which is apparently quite good. I wonder like how much longer Arri are going to have a stranglehold and Red. How much longer they can continue to charge as much as they do for their cameras, because it does feel like, especially with the C500, it really feels like that's catching up. That's a camera catching up to an Alexa, and that's quite impressive. It's second only to an Alexa now in terms of dynamic range, and it's like, why would you drop $100,000 on an Alexa when you could buy a ton of C500s now? It's like, it's interesting. I know there's all the support with Arri as well. You get, and I don't want to diss them because I love the Alexa. It's still my favorite camera, but it does make me wonder. I already know a production company in London that have just ordered a load of C500s rather than refreshing their Alexas. So maybe there's a C. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And they're a big company up in London. So BBC do a lot of good stuff. But so it's going to be. It feels like things are changing at the moment. Like Red, it feels like Red are in trouble as well at the moment. But it'll be interesting to see sales and things like that. But yeah, no, I'm now really excited to see, because I want to see what Sony are going to announce now. It feels like the clash of the titans, doesn't it? Canon versus Sony again. It's fun. For us nerds, it's fun to watch.
But also, it's interesting seeing a lot of companies out of China now. You have Kinefinity, Zcam. There probably was also one more, but I think now it's basically those two from China that are making cinema cameras that are actually doing really good, like with the Marvel LF, with the Zcam, with the S6, F6, and F8.
Yeah, so there's so many of them. I lose because some of them are like 6K Super 35, aren't they? Some of them are 6K full frame as well. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm really impressed with. I worked on it. I sent you pictures, didn't I? I worked on a music video recently, and we used a Zcam as a crane cam, and the footage was really good. It was, that was just the E2, I think. Is that the 4K one? Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, it's a really nice image considering the size of the camera and the price as well. I mean, and China as well. We've got some great lenses coming out of China. I think that's the other thing that's really, like we've got the was it DZO film
DZO,
cine
yeah.
lenses. Yeah, and then we've got the what's the other one that came out recently? There's a CROE anamorphic lens, and it's just crazy. It's really good. I mean, it's China are killing it when it comes to lenses, especially.
Yeah, also Weizen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They did. They did a big chunky anamorphic lens, didn't they?
Yeah, and
Is that
they're
them?
making a
Yeah.
new one that is smaller.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that put me off it a bit. It was like this sort of weird small connector and then a giant section at the end. It was like, it was a bit weird. But yeah, no, that CROE anamorphic looks really. I'm quite interested in that. I think I might pick that up. But I've seen quite a lot of good feedback on that. It's just nice to have anamorphic, and it's nice to not have to screw an adapter on and double focus and all that kind of stuff. So to actually have a little lens that you don't have to double focus, and it looks like it's that's going to be fun times, that lens.
It's only APS-C though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you won't be able to get it on a on an R5 or and although I wonder, because with the EOS R, when you stick a APS-C lens on it, it automatically crops down to 1.6 crop. So I wonder if the R5 is going to do the same thing.
You probably
which
have
is
a
interesting.
setting to crop it.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's interesting, and I wonder if because I remember on the A7R Mark II, when you went down to, you've got that, haven't you? That camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go down to Super 35 mode, it stops pixel binning, doesn't it, and becomes a much clearer image. It's a better image, basically. I wonder if the same thing.
Actually, you can go with the A7R2, do like a 2 times with the clear image zoom, and it still looks good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of it's just so good that you can finally use decent lenses on a Canon as well. You don't have to just use EF lenses, because that was always the problem with the DSLRs, wasn't it? It's harder to adapt. You'd lose light, and it was annoying. But with the new RF mount, that makes life a lot easier. Yeah, exciting times. I'm definitely going to look into the R5. It's a nice. I've become a fan of small cameras. I like them.
There's also somebody asking about like the GH6. What you think about?
I think maybe we'll get, because it's due, isn't it? It's due a preview now. I think last time they did a preview about a year before the release, didn't they, of the GH5? Yeah. So he's right. I think it'll be either NAB or IBC this year that will get the GH6 kind of preview announcement. It won't be the full announcement, but a bit like the R5, where it was sort of soft announced in February. I think it'll be the same thing with the GH6 if they do one. I mean, they might not do one, but they'd be stupid not to.
I feel like, it's interesting to see how the Micro Four Thirds will improve further. I feel like they could. I think there is room of improvement, because they haven't done like the backlighting sensor yet, which Sony uses to get like really good low light out of the sensors. So it's quite interesting to see how Micro Four Thirds, but also because Micro Four Thirds don't overheat that much, and there's now so many cine lenses for Micro Four Thirds from Meikis, DZO film, and there are a lot of even Chinese brands coming with cine lenses for a lot of different cameras.
I think I read somewhere that the company that makes 7 Artisans lenses, they're the tiny little. I've heard that they might be coming out with cine lenses as well. I'm not sure if that's just Meek or Maker. How do you pronounce that? Meiki. Is it Meek or Maker? Meiki.
I say Meiki.
Okay. Meiki, right? Okay. Yeah, I've never. It's one of those companies where you like. It's like MoveCam. I used to think they were MovCam for ages, but apparently it's MoveCam.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm really excited with what China's doing with lenses. That's my main thing I'm interested in from China at the moment, is like the scene, and they're coming out quickly as well. It's really good. Like, so we're seeing some decent, affordable cine lenses coming out that are scoring quite well when they're being reviewed. So the Meiki lenses I'm quite interested in, because they're fairly affordable as well. They're really cheap. The Meiki lenses, they're like £300.
Yeah, but the Meiki lenses are like what was the brand?
Oh yeah,
it's not original, right? It's just
no, it's
a takeover.
Yeah, I think they it's something to do with they got what was the name of the company? I've forgotten that.
Um,
Vadra. Was it Vadra?
Phaedra, yeah, Phaedra.
Yeah, that's it. Vadra. Yeah, I think they were an American company, weren't they? But the factory for the lenses was in China, and then
Yeah.
this company came along and borrowed the optical design, I think, didn't
No,
they? and,
but Phaedra kind of stopped, and then because
well,
like
they got robbed. Didn't they?
no, but no,
Their, wa-
Phaedra just literally, I think they bankrupt or something because
there was their
they
their warehouse got robbed though. That was the reason, I think.
okay.
They lost all their inventory. I think that was the original reason anyway. But then then Miki came along and we're like, oh well, we're going to put your lenses out, which is it's good for us.
No, but I
So
think it's more the factory because like if it, I don't I also feel like if the factory is like feeling like I'm producing these lenses but you're not selling enough of them, I'll rather search for a different partner.
yeah, I guess so. That seems to make sense. But yeah, I mean, it's good for us though. We get to we get to get affordable cine lenses, so that's
Yeah.
nice. So competition's always good. Anyway, I'm going to have to dip because
Okay.
I have to because we're in coronavirus mode at the moment, and I have to take my girlfriend to visit some ill people.
Okay.
So, but it's been good to
So
talk to you
yeah.
again.
Okay, so that was the live of today. Just quick talk about EOS R5. So yeah, see you guys next gear talk. We'll try to see like when we're scheduling the next time. So bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.